Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, Senator Rand Paul has introduced a SNAP reform bill aiming to promote nutritional standards and increase state flexibility in federal food assistance programs. Writing SNAP was designed to fight hunger and improve nutrition, not to subsidize soda and junk food. It makes no sense that taxpayer dollars are being used to fund an epidemic of obesity and diet-related illness.
This comes as Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again push is fueling a renewed effort to ban soda and candy from SNAP. Supporters say it promotes better nutrition, but critics warn it's a backdoor attempt to gut the program altogether, and we know Robby would hate that. Here's Tucker Carlson speaking to Dr. Mark Hyman, where he claims junk food companies target those who receive SNAP benefits. Let's watch.
And then we pay for those foods for our SNAP program. So we have about $125 billion in SNAP, which is our food stamp program. It's supplemental nutrition assistance, but there's no N in there. There's just food security, which means calories. So when you get your EBT benefits in the beginning of the month, these food companies know to advertise in the bodega. So they'll get your 2-liter bottle of Coke with your EBT, and they put these giant ads in there, and they know exactly when they're getting their cards. So we basically fund.
So you can buy Coca-Cola.
75% of the food bought on SNAP is junk food. 10% is soda. So you think about $12 billion on soda the Americans paying.
Why would soda be federal? Why would, if we're giving out nutritional assistance to the poor, why would we pay for soda?
What an obvious question, Tucker. Yeah.
But that's just crazy.
It's crazy. And we know
if you wanted to hurt the poor, you would do that.
Okay, so this was a big subject on social media this week. It turned out that a number of actually conservative Twitter accounts posted like very similar things at the same time in defense of leaving the program the way it is, where you can use the SNAP benefits to pay for junk foods, saying it's about health freedom, and it's very clear that Big Sugar or whatever paid them to make these kinds of statements. So that's a separate issue and speaks to their authenticity, and like, just don't do that. Don't be so obviously transactional in
but Trump's
the kind of
Diet Coke button.
Right, exactly. On the issue itself, I actually have mixed feelings. You asked me how I feel about this one. I mean, the bottom line is this is a government welfare program, and I want to eliminate as many of those as possible. But it's not really a freedom issue, because no one is saying, I would be against saying to low-income people or to anyone, trying to tell them what they should spend their own money on or what they should put in their bodies. You know, I'm against like efforts to ban larger soda bottle, you know.
And, the Bloomberg soda ban.
That kind of stuff. That's all paternalism that I'm against.
Hands off my big gulp.
That's
Remember that?
That's right. Or changing, the school lunches. But this is a federal program this is tax dollar money going to these people, so it's not quite the same thing to put some limits on it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
If I'm paying...
That's what I'm not sure I agree with it, but go ahead.
Well, I agree with the program because, eliminating soda and candy, because it is our taxpayer dollars. And I saw it described this way. It's like freedom on the front end, but socialism on the back end, because ultimately we are also paying for the health outcomes from what happens with SNAP recipients. Most of them are also on Medicare and Medicaid. And so if you're going to provide taxpayer dollars for someone to eat a certain way, and then also you have to pay for the disparate health outcomes, which obviously SNAP recipients tend to have less positive health outcomes through socialized medicine or government-run medicine, then I think on both ends you should have some say over how your tax dollars are being used to fund certain behavior.
The issue I have with that, though, is, money is fungible. So it's like if we're giving them money anyway and they're going to have unhealthy lifestyle choices, okay, maybe they use that money for some other purchase. And then the money they were going to spend on now they have money for junk food because they're using that money to cover other aspects of their lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it all goes into the same.
No, I understand that because
in the same way that college students, I know from Michigan that had a state food stamps program, like college students could qualify as low income, and we're getting this money, and you can't use it to buy beer, but whatever. Then they use it to buy their groceries, and the money they were going to spend on groceries they buy beer with. So it's.
But does that necessarily mean that you have to subsidize the bad behavior?
No, we should just subsidize nothing, right? We should just get rid of the program. I mean, do you know what I mean? And then how does the enforcement work? Maybe you can tell me this. I don't actually know this. Does I would never want the grocery store checkout person to have to go, oh wait, you can't buy this with this. Do they have to do that?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Well,
then I'm totally against this.
yeah,
I'm waiting behind them in line, chop. Well, I got to get home. I got to put food on my kid's table, and you're telling me I gotta wait longer in line because they have to go through the checkout bag?
Well, I'm pretty sure they scan the card and the card takes off like specific items. Like there's if you go talking about like a corporate grocery store, like a Giant
anything
or
that makes the
Safeway,
checkout process even slightly longer.
I don't think it does because those items have already been tagged as eligible for SNAP. So when the card gets scanned, those items apply, but the soda and stuff would not. So it wouldn't slow you down any. Now, if you're talking about a local bodega, apparently, and I'm sure someone's going to fact check me on this in the comments, but I was reading about this yesterday. Apparently in these small locally owned grocery stores, they do actually have to self-report. And so there is a big problem with people taking advantage of going to a bodega and using their SNAP benefits on things like liquor and cigarettes when they're not supposed to. So there is kind of a scam aspect to it as well.
Yeah, I remember looking at as I said, the state benefit in Michigan, which was just being so wildly abused. They're like, please end this thing. That's ultimately, where I land. I totally understand taxpayers not wanting to subsidize the unhealthy lifestyles of anyone, and they shouldn't have to. So I don't disagree with you. I just think practically then they'll use it for something else, and it comes to the same thing. I think it's hard to change human behavior in that way, nor do I don't really want to change other people's behavior through government policy that much. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah, I understand the argument because conservatives make it about Planned Parenthood a lot, which is even if you're giving them money for their programs and it's not technically for abortion,
right,
the money is fungible, so they're able to provide more abortion. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I just want my taxpayer dollars to just go straight to the abortion, which is what the alternative would be here with SNAP. If they letting them spend it on whatever they want would be, well, since the money's fungible and Planned Parenthood's getting it anyway, then we should just directly fund the abortions. Like, no, I don't buy that.
We should just not have the government redistribute American taxpayer dollars to any other causes for the most part. That's what I think. That's all for today, but tomorrow we'll be back with even more free media. See you then.